This is the boundary which you have to cross, and for that we have to take help from Christ. Christ crucified himself. Why? Because what did he do? Did he loot people? Today you have thousands of these thugs coming here and looting you. Nobody crucifies them. What did he do? He just challenged the ego of these Romans and of these Jews, those who were angry with him. And that's why he was crucified. And we have to crucify our ego now through his cross. Otherwise we are going to do the same again to ourselves, that in our own being we crucify our Christ by our ego. It is a very symbolic death of Christ. His birth in the most humble place, in a very humble place. He is born in the optic thalamus, you can say, is the place where this brain, all activities coming and all sorts of problems there facing you. And there he lives. And you have to just awaken him there so that your ego is crucified once for all. But I don't say you fight your ego, because it is not that important to fight. You are fighting with your shadow. You have a shadow which is called as ego, which is not to be fought and waste your energy on him. There's no need to fight it. Only thing, if you stand in the center of the light, you don't see any shadow. It is so simple as that. If you stand in the center of light, that is Christ, you don't see any shadow anywhere. But when I say this, I may sound like other people who give sermons. Stand in the shadow of Christ, or stand in the light of Christ. Now what does that mean? Where is that light? Where is that place where you should stand? And that place is here in the center of your optic thalamus, where there is no thought. You have to stand in thoughtless awareness. And this is a very, very important chakra for Sahajogis, because when the Kundalini rises above the Agya chakra, immediately there is no thought. You do not get any thoughts from ego or superego. But there is a wobbling in the Agya because of your imbalanced ways. And the imbalanced ways are that sometimes you are with ego or with superego. This has happened to our people in the West. Because we have had so much of ego, we got really tired of it. We got frightened with it. Then we started taking to drugs and things to increase our superego. But by doing that, what we are doing is pushing by one end, bringing it by another end, and that's how we are wobbling our ego and superego, by which we are not helping ourselves at all. So what one has to do is to rise within oneself up to the point of Agya and try to steady your Agya. There are many people who have asked me one question: how to steady the Agya? Agya is placed at the crossing point of our nerves and also optic thalamus. Now, so it is said that if you have wobbling eyes, you will have a wobbling Agya. You have to steady your eyes. You have to soothe them. Now, it is very, very out of date, ancient, old, and all sorts of names that you call it to a thing like that. But you must steady your eyes and steady them in such a way that it is very soothing for the eyes. Which is the most soothing thing for the eyes is the green grass. If you could see the green grass with your eyes, means you walk with your eyes on the ground. Your eyes will be soothed, your Agya will be all right. That's why Christ said that I tell you about the adulterous eyes. He talked about the adulterous eyes. The eyes with which you do adultery is a very common thing these days. Every woman a man must see, every man a woman must see. As if it is the most important job. If you have not seen one woman, you have finished. I mean, this is being modern. But I am an old-fashioned lady. And at the time of Christ, he said, you should not have adulterous eyes. And the ones who have adulterous eyes are no more than any other but our Western Christians, who all the time, even in the church, even when they are giving sermon, their eyes are moving with adultery. These eyes have to be very, very pure, very, very deep, and very loving. when you want to have your agya all right. Because you receive through your eyes. Say if you have closed your eyes, you do not put your attention to anything because your eyes are closed. You are not adding more thoughts to yourself. But if your eyes are open, you are adding much more thoughts because everywhere the eyes go, the attention goes, and you see things and create thoughts and put in them. So your attention, which has to go to the Spirit, which has to go to God, which has to shine through the window of divine, this beautiful thing is ruined by the way we use our eyes and we do not respect it. There's nothing so pure and beautiful as the grass on the ground or the ground itself, which takes our feet, which supports us, which looks after us, enriches us. We should put our eyes on the Mother Earth instead of looking at every person. But from Sahaja Yoga point of view now, many of you know what happens to your eyes when you look at somebody. Maybe entity might enter into your eyes. And it is, you will be amazed, that it is the play of the entity, what we call this so-called flirting is. I've talked about it before also, and people didn't like it when I told them about it. But I've seen actual entities entering from eyes to eyes. I've seen very simple people who come down to such places, say in a party. In a party, people are just exchanging entities from one eye to another. Once it goes to another person, he puts his entity into another person, and that goes into another person. All the time your attention is diverted, and you feel it is attracted towards something. You do not know why it is attracted. Now the certain symbols are also made like that. To add up to the problems, you see, all the society is working at it, that you should appear in such a way that every man should look at you. Every woman should look at you. Why? What is the use? Supposing I look at you, what do I get? What do I get by looking at a person? What is the advantage? Just looking at a person? We are wasting such a lot of energy for what? In the same way, if you are walking on the roads, on we are seeing some beautiful things, all right. If you have to buy something, all right, go ahead, see those things, whatever you have to select is all right. But all the time, just because your eyes are such, you are just doing it and you do not know the reason why you are doing like this. All the time, why your eyes are wobbling. And that is a sure and certain sign for a person to become mad. Absolutely, that's a sure and certain sign, is when a person is mad. How do you make it out that a person is lunatic? If you see his eyes, the iris and the eyes are all the time wobbling. They cannot keep it steady. Or they are sick. There also you can see that these eyes are all the time wobbling. There's no steadiness. Not only this, but you have seen those people who come in the Sahaja Yoga, when they close their eyes, they find their eyes are flickering. Their eyelids are flickering. That means there's some sort of a disturbance in the Kundalini rising. Whole tension, if you call it as 100, then at least 80% of it comes through our eyes. Then how important it is to protect our eyes from all kind of useless activities we are doing. Christ's life shows so many aspects of how to respect others, but one of them which is being very much misused throughout is that of the prostitute. He saved the prostitute. He saved her, no doubt. But you spoil those prostitutes. A good woman, you make her into prostitutes. You give her ideas by which she becomes a prostitute. A good hazif is turned into a prostitute by an egoistical man. Young, small girls who are virgins are being destroyed by your dirty glances. Do you realize this? That you are doing just the opposite what Christ had done. And you say that he saved Christ. So even if we are prostitutes, he'll save us. But why be prostitutes? This is such a stupid style of thinking, that we should become prostitutes so that Christ will save us. One has to think about all these things in the proper light of Sahaja. Unless and until you are realized my talk is just useless for you. But once you realize, you will know that if you glance at someone, you might suddenly get a headache at the back. You might feel a dart has gone into your head or something has happened. You might feel that you are blinding with somebody's face. And you will get all kinds of experiences by which you will know how important are your eyes. All your nervousness and everything can be cured if you have pure eyes. But it is such a vicious circle that through your eyes you gather all the bad and is accumulated in the agya, and you have to clear the agya to make the eyes clear.